Hello, guys, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Reacts. And today, get your tutti frickin' fruity because we are going to be reviewing the one, the only, The Devil's Rejects. Are you ready for this, Greg?
Yeah, dude.
I would also like to state that I did go and see finally the new Scream. Great movie.
Yeah, it was great. Um, I gave it a good rating though, but my mate that I went and saw Creed 3 yet last night, he saw it too, but he reckons like 30 minutes after like the first 30 minutes, it kind of went downhill a little bit.
hmm
Like the ending was a bit but like they gave away the killer too easy.
Yeah, they did. I knew who one of the killers was. I didn't guess the others. I'm not going to really get into it because people haven't seen it yet. But anyway, let's talk about The Devil's Reject. So, this movie came out in 2005, which was what, 4 years after, 3 years after House of a Thousand Corpses? No,
Well,
2 years.
House of a Thousand Corpses came out in 2001.
No, it was recorded in 2001. It came out in 2003.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because there was like a lot of issues. I think he got kicked off by heaps of studio companies. I believe
Yeah,
he got he got fucked over big time.
he got screwed. But Devil's Rejects came out 2 years after the fact, and it literally is a direct sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses. This one is a little different than House of a Thousand Corpses. So if you didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses, there's a chance you'll like this one.
Well, no, I love the House of a Thousand Corpses. The more I watch a House of a Thousand Corpses, the more I appreciate it. You know, the
Yeah,
first one I watched, it was a bit but then the more times you watch it, you start to appreciate it more for what
yeah,
it was.
and like I love Devil's Rejects. I actually watched it with a friend of mine, and she said she loves Devil's Rejects more than A House of a Thousand Corpses. So, without further ado, let's kind of get into the plot, and then we could get through the movie. Now, there are a lot of reoccurring characters. There's Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding, Bill Moseley, Otis, and then you have Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, who is Baby.
Yeah.
Now, my thought process on this movie was is I didn't, not really my thought process, but there's something that I didn't notice, is what I meant to say. But my friend did notice. The Mama Firefly is not played by the same actress. Leslie Easterbrook replaced Karen Black as Mama Firefly. And the reasoning for it was is because the original Mama Firefly, Karen Black, wanted a raise. And they told her that they couldn't do that.
I see. I see.
So that was a thing.
Still
And
worked out well though.
worked out amazing. Now, to get to the plot, this movie takes place on May 18th, 1978. Where House of a Thousand Corpses took place on October 30th, 1977. So they have literally been hiding out for like about 6 months, maybe. They've been hiding out since the events of House of a Thousand Corpses. They're hiding out in this old farmhouse. Now we don't really find out how they got to this farmhouse, why they're hiding out there, who owns it, or anything like that. But they're hiding out in this old farmhouse. You see at the beginning of the movie, Tiny is dragging this body,
Yeah.
and that body is actually a woman who they had already killed. She
Right in the
looks
shootout.
she looks similar enough, but yeah, during the shootout, um, he's like dragging this body, and then they're all laying in bed, and we find out that the sheriff, John Quincy Wydell, who is actually the brother of the sheriff from the previous movie that got shot, he ordered that they are going to show up with a large posse of state troopers to issue a search and destroy mission on the Firefly family, who are responsible for over 75 homicides and disappearances over the past several years.
That was a good opening scene, though, I think.
That was an amazing shootout.
That was like, yeah, to start off a movie. I thought that was actually pretty good. The same with A House with a Thousand Corpses, how it starts off in the gas station for what, 5 minutes? But I felt like this one lasted for like what, 10, 15, almost 15 minutes. Yeah.
This scene, it's basically they shoot at the house, the fucking Devil's Rejects are shooting back and forth, and then come to find out they go inside with the tear gas, and the family is actually armed and ready, and they have a little bit of a shootout. One of the brothers gets shot and killed. He was the one in the House of a Thousand Corpses that helped them get their car.
Yeah.
He gets shot and killed. Mama Firefly runs to him.
Was that Tiny?
No, Tiny was still in the woods.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They all asking where Tiny's at. They said he's in the woods, whatever. Mama Firefly goes to that guy, all upset because it's her son. And then we find out that Mama Firefly ends up at the hands of the cop, at the hands of the law, while the other three are escaping. Now Mama Firefly holds a gun to her head. He's like, "You're not going to catch me alive." Pulls the trigger. No bullets. So they end up getting Mama Firefly, holding her custody, while Otis, Baby, both escape. They're the only two that escaped. Now, a lot of people are wondering, where's Dr. Satan in all of this? He actually was supposed to be a character in this movie. There's actually a deleted scene you can find of him.
Yes, and we will get to that later on because I've got the DVD version of this movie, and there's like, I think an alternative ending.
Yes.
On what actually happened, and I kind of wish they kept that ending. They put that ending in there because obviously it leads up to a third movie, which is Free from Hell. But but that ending that didn't get used for the original ending. I thought that was really good, but then I think it would be like no purpose of putting that in there.
Yeah, well, Rob Zombie stated that he just didn't feel like Dr. Satan belonged in this movie.
No, I think he just belonged in friggin' House of a Thousand Corpses, really.
Yeah, because House of a Thousand Corpses was more of like a traditional horror movie. This one was more of like an escape from prison, running around kind of movie. And I don't see Dr. Satan running around.
A 7-foot fucking dude just running around hiding.
Yeah, but Dr. Satan, to get into where he's at so that you guys know, because the movie doesn't really explain, they don't really talk about him. He ends up at a hospital. And they have him in custody kind of in this hospital because he's not in a great shape, I guess. And he comes up and rips the throat out of a nurse. That's the only...
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only real mention of Dr. Satan throughout the movie. But that's a scene that was taken out. Now, Otis and Baby end up escaping. They end up at a hotel. This is when we're introduced to this musical group called Banjo and Sullivan.
Yes.
We have the dad. He's out getting ice, and Baby comes up, starts flirting with him, and then Otis comes up behind with a gun, and they take them to a hotel room. Guns ablazing. They storm into the room. They end up holding all these people hostage. Who the hell's in the shower? Otis asks. Turns out to be the guy's girlfriend. They're all held hostage. She's naked on the bed.
There was a lot of nudity in this movie, man.
There's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of crazy shit going on. But he ends up holding this woman hostage. Well, the whole family hostage. And then we have a knock at the door. And it's somebody I forgot to mention earlier. It's the roadie who actually, you know, was going to go get snacks, I guess. And he opens the door, Otis does, sees this guy standing there, grabs him, throws him on the ground, and shoots his head out. Blood everywhere. And then the guy behind the woman that just showered puked all over. So her shower was pointless. She's covered in puke and blood right now.
Was she covered in puke? I thought she might have just threw up on the bed or on just.
He did, but he got it on her shoulder.
Oh, the really skinny hillbilly guy.
Yeah, when he threw up on her too.
Okay. That guy that got shot in the head in that movie, he's actually a really big metal fan.
He also is. Oh, Otis didn't answer the door. Baby did. Otis is the one that shot him, though.
Yeah.
Baby was like, "Oh yeah, he's in here, all right." And then that's who answered the door.
What's his name?
The guy that plays that dude.
Yeah, because he's like really like huge into metal.
His name is Brian Posehn.
Isn't he like a stand-up comic?
He's a stand-up comedian. He also appeared in Sarah Silverman. He played a character in Sarah Silverman. Brian Posehn also, he played a lot of different things. I'm trying to find. Oh, by the way, Kane Hodder's in this movie. I forgot to mention that.
Ah, really?
One little side note: Kane Hodder is in this movie.
Who did he play?
He actually plays one of the gas masked officers.
No way.
Yes.
Fuck me. That's awesome. I actually did not know that until like now.
Yeah. He plays one of the gas masked officers. He also
just
plays
Jason.
Brian Posehn also plays in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find other things that he's in because you might recognize him. He was on of course, Sarah Silverman. He played in The Big Bang Theory as geologist Bert Kibler. He also did some voice work for Halo 2, Brutal Legend, and Minecraft.
Yeah.
Big time comedian.
Yeah. His face just looked really familiar. I know he was in Devil's Rejects because obviously I watched this movie like 50 million times. But his face was like familiar, like in I think was he in. You said Big Bang Theory. Wasn't he like in Spin City as well?
He may have been.
Because I just see his face just pop up in fucking TV shows and shit.
He was in a lot of TV shows. You said Sin City?
Yeah, with Michael J. Fox.
No, he was not in that.
Oh, okay.
But he was in a lot of shit. That's what I'm trying to get at.
I was just seeing his face pop up, that's all.
Now, we have at the motel, Andy and Roy. Otis ends up sexually assaulting Roy's wife in front of him with a gun. Captain Spaulding, we go to him and he's having sex with this woman who he then says, "You're going to have to pay me next." She pulls a gun on him, pulls the trigger. It was
I like this. Yeah. I like this scene. This is funny.
It was but a dream.
Yeah.
And he ends up with this, like, I think she's Hispanic woman. And he's like, "Get out of my way, bitch, blah, blah, blah." He finds out that they have escaped and he is suspect number one. So he ends up getting in his truck and trying to find them.
Yeah.
Now, back at the hotel, as I said, Otis assaulted Roy's wife, Gloria. Then he told Adam and Roy to come with him on an errand. Otis then drives the two prisoners to a place where he has buried weapons. While walking the location, the two prisoners end up attacking Otis because they assume he's going to kill them. Then Otis ends up bludgeoning Roy and cuts Adam's. He ends up bludgeoning Roy. He ends up shooting Adam in the throat. And he's laying there with his throat all cut. And then Otis ends up, after killing both of them, he goes back to the hotel with Adam's cut off face on his. kind of reminiscent of what he did in House of a Thousand Corpses. Adam's wife, before Otis shows up, sorry, Adam's wife and Wendy try to escape. As Wendy tries to escape, Gloria attempts to kill Baby with a gun and ends up getting stabbed with a knife. She ends up saying it's safe, but it's not. Then the other girl comes out of the bathroom and gets shot by... No, she doesn't get shot by Baby. She tries to escape. And then that's when Captain Spaulding comes into the room. They beat this girl up. They end up putting her boyfriend's face over top of hers and hanging her up in the room. Sorry, Haas. Sorry. My brain, when it comes to names, is so fucking horrible. But yeah, his face gets cut off, gets put on his girlfriend's face. They end up leaving the hotel to run away with Captain Spaulding. This maid ends up coming into the room, finding all the bodies everywhere, and the woman freaking out with her boyfriend's face on hers. It is...
Oh, yeah, and gets hit by a truck.
Fucking wild. She runs out of there, gets hit by a truck.
They should have used that scene on the Black Phone.
Right? That should have been the ending of Black Phone.
I still remember that one.
No.
That would have been good. Deleted scene.
Now, Wydell ends up calling upon a pair of amoral bounty hunters called the Unholy Two, which is played... I should write screenplays. You should write screenplays. That'd be fucking awesome. But the Unholy Two, Rondo and Billy Ray, who is played by Machete himself, Danny Trejo, and also Diamond Dallas Page, the pro wrestler. They are trying to help find the Fireflies. While investigating, they discover an associate of Spaulding's named Charlie Altamont. Wydell begins to lose his sanity when Mother Firefly reveals that she murdered his brother. After having a dream in which his brother commands him to avenge their death, his brother's death, Wydell stabs Mother Firefly to death in prison. The surviving Fireflies gather at a brothel owned by Charlie, where he offers them shelter from the police. Now, Charlie is a pimp, and he runs this whorehouse. This house is ill repute.
That was I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a good actor.
Also, his sidekick or friend or whatever was also one of the main characters in the original Wrong Turn. Or was it, it wasn't Wrong Turn, it was Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, he was an original actor in that.
Was it the reboot or the...
I think he's in the original.
Oh, okay. I've only seen the reboot.
Now, after leaving the brothel, Charlie is on the run. Not on the run, but he's going to go get chicken. And this guy's like, you guys ain't going to fuck these chickens, are you? And you find out that this dude that's selling the chickens thinks about having sex with chickens. It's a really wild scene. Charlie goes to get in his car, but he's stopped by Wydell, who threatened Charlie to give up the Fireflies because he knows where they're at. He said that the Unholy Two and the sheriff's going to take the family back to the Firefly house where he's going to torture them, pretty much is what he tells Wydell, and leave them at this brothel. Now, he ends up going to the whorehouse with the Unholy Two. The Unholy Two kidnaps the Fireflies, killing hookers and shit. This is when Captain Spaulding finds out that Charlie was behind it all. And we have a very touchy-feely moment there. And it's sad. It really is. That he turned his back on the killers. This is actually a moment where you're like, kind of feel bad for the killers, but you also don't because, like, they're mass murderers.
Yeah.
No.
Go
ahead.
Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. I've lost what I was going to say now.
Also, one of the prostitutes, who is kind of a main character, kind of not, was played by none other than the voice actress that played Tommy Pickles in Rugrats.
Oh, no way.
Yes, she plays a hooker in this movie.
She does a voice for a children's TV show, and then she plays a hooker in a horror movie.
Yes. He ends up taking them back to the Firefly house where he tortures them. Now, this isn't the same house from House of a Thousand Corpses because that one burnt to the ground.
Yeah. I think this was I think this was probably I think this was in like an abandoned barn.
Yes.
Yeah, but that scene was cool too.
But that part kind of makes no sense to me because he took them back to the Firefly house, but the house burnt down, and so that wasn't the original house that his brother died in, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
they made it
I
up
think
to be that
it would have been another barn that was in the same area.
More than likely, yes. But that's neither here nor there. He takes them back to this Firefly house, takes them down to the basement, and starts torturing them.
Yeah, that scene was pretty cool too. How like they're all just like strapped in a chair, and like he nails their hands on the fucking on the chair, and I like the part when he picks up all the victims' photos, and he just goes, "You remember?" He just shoots the nail gun into their chest. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, holy shit!
And then
it's all shit right now.
Captain Spaulding was trying to claim that he killed somebody that Baby did, and like it was a very touchy-feely moment. And we actually found out in this movie something that we didn't really get revealed in the first movie. We find out Captain Spaulding is actually Baby's dad. And he's also would make him Otis's stepfather.
That is weird because so I kind of knew that like this was all like a family affair thing.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know that Captain Spaulding and Baby were like related as father and daughter. Because I always thought that maybe actually no. I actually thought that that maybe Otis and Baby or something like that were like stepbrothers or sisters or something like that.
Well, yeah, that was mentioned in House of a Thousand Corpses that Mama Firefly was their mom. Grandpa Firefly was, of course, their grandpa, and Otis and Baby were step children. But it was never revealed who the dad was.
Or like Otis and Captain Spaulding were related or something like that.
Yeah, that was never revealed. The only thing that was revealed was Tiny's dad.
Yeah. So you reckon Tiny's dad is related to who?
Tiny's dad, that's not revealed. Tiny's dad would be basically, it would be Tiny's dad would be Otis's father, is what I would think.
Yeah. And you reckon Dr. Satan is related to Captain Spaulding?
I reckon Dr. Satan's his own thing, and they just kind of like let him be. I don't think he's related to the Firefly family at all.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird family affair thing, eh?
Yeah. So Tiny, Baby, and Otis all have different dads. That does make sense because Mama Firefly is a prostitute. That is also revealed in this movie.
So there you go.
So Captain Spaulding is the father of Baby, but the stepdad of Otis. So now that we got that out of the way.
That is confusing as fuck, but okay.
It is. We have Otis's hands nailed to a chair. He stapled the crime scene photos to Otis and Baby's stomach. He beats and shocks Captain Spaulding and Otis with a cattle prod. He ends up taunting Baby about the death of her mother. You might want to test Mama Firefly because she gets around. She might have some diseases or something.
She could have.
Now, Wydell ended up setting the house on fire with Otis and Baby still inside and Captain Spaulding. Tiny ends up coming into the house, ripping the nails out of. So this is where Tiny comes back in. Tiny comes in and rips the nails out of the arms. Actually, no, the Firefly house didn't burn in the first movie. It burnt in this one. So it was the same house.
Yeah. He took him back where all the victims were killed and kidnapped and all that shit.
Okay, that makes sense. I got my endings mixed up. The first movie ended with that girl thinking she's escaping. That's right. Well, Tiny rips the nails out of the hands of Otis and gets them all outside. They all get into the back of the 1972 Cadillac Eldorado, which was Charlie's car, and they end up leaving Tiny behind. Tiny ended up going into the house, presumably burning to death. The trio drives, but is badly injured. As Otis drives down the road with Spaulding and Baby asleep in the back seat, he notices that there's a police barricade up ahead. And he ends up grabbing guns, and they all get loaded up with guns and start opening fire on the cops, and they get shot to death, apparently to death. And that is how the movie ends, while playing Freebird by Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, that was a great ending to put a song in to a film. But I like what Rob Zombie said in this podcast that he did, that he was on Eli Roth's Master of Horror. He said he likes doing horror movies and let the bad guys get away with it at the end, and be like the Fonz or something like that. You know what I mean? Instead of your typical horror movie when the bad guy dies and the guy or the man or the lady or whoever survives at the end. He wants to do the complete opposite, and I think that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Now,
very, very clever as well. But I also liked the screenwriting in this movie too. It was good.
Another fun note, though, is the Firefly family uses fake names. And they're all Charlie Chaplin. Was it Charlie Chaplin? They're all Charlie Chaplin characters.
Yeah.
I do believe that was the actor. Carrington's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's them. Yeah. The Marx Brothers. That's what it was. Karl Marx characters.
I did like that. There's that one line. There's that line in the movie when he knocks that lady out to hop in their car. He goes, "What's the matter, kids? Don't you like clowns? Why don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?" That is like the best line in the whole fucking movie.
I didn't forget about that scene, but I forgot to mention that. That was a good fucking scene.
That and when Otis uses Charles Manson's words?
Yep. That was a good scene when he took them out to the woods, when he was not the woods, but out to that area where he buried the guns. When he killed them, the words that he said was, "As I am the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work," and then he shot him. That is actually a line from Charles Tex Watson during the Manson murders.
Yeah. And this movie was really good. I actually enjoyed it a lot the first time when I watched it than what I did with The House of a Thousand Corpses. But this movie kind of has you on the edge of your seat sometimes, because there's so many times that the survivors could have gotten away or maybe had a chance of killing them, but obviously it would never work. But I would actually like to see the ending of The House of a Thousand Corpses leading up to Devil's Rejects and where the girl went.
Yeah, that would have been cool. There's a lot of things that would have been awesome in this movie that didn't happen. But the thing was, screen time, money, budget, all that fun shit.
Rob Zombie should reboot this movie.
Another good line in the movie. There's a lot of good lines that we didn't really get into because we kind of just did the plot. Tutti Frutti. They were driving in the car, and
Oh yeah, the ice cream. Yeah.
Captain Spaulding is like, "You want some tutti fucking fruity? Tutti fucking fruity." That was a good scene too.
That could
He's
have
like,
just
"They're
been a song right there.
yeah, they're like, you're not getting any tutti frutti in your future," and then that's it.
Yeah. I reckon Sharon Moon Zombie's acting in this one, even though this was her second professional film.
Uh huh.
Since A House of a Thousand Corpses, I thought her acting in this one was a lot more better than House of a Thousand Corpses.
It was. I think this movie overall was better than House of a Thousand Corpses when it comes like acting and writing and everything.
But it was
Even
it was probably like a huge rating.
yeah, it also the budget I think was a little more. No, same budget. 7 million was the budget of both movies. However,
Let me see the rating. Sorry, dude.
Devil's
Well,
Rejects earned more.
it did. But from IMDb, they got 6.7 out of 10 with 55% Rotten Tomatoes and 55% Flicks, which is pretty good.
That's really good.
It's decent for like a redneck horror movie. I call it a redneck freaking 70s horror movie.
This whole movie though, Southern Rock was big for it.
Yeah.
Now, this movie had a budget of 7 million. It earned 20.9 million. It was a success. It was done by Lionsgate Films in the United States, but Tiberius Film in Germany. Well, that was the distribution company. The production company was Lionsgate or Devil's Rejects Inc. This movie starred, of course, Sid Haig, Bill Moseley, Sherry Moon Zombie, William Forsythe, Ken Foray. This was the last movie featuring Matthew McGorry. He actually died before the movie came out. He didn't really get to see it. Leslie Easterbrook, Dave Sheridan, E.G. Daly, Jeffrey Lewis, Priscilla Barnes, Kate Norby, Lou Temple, Danny Trio, Diamond Dallas Page, Brian Posehn. Like, there's a lot of fucking people in this movie. But what do you rank this movie, Greg?
I give it a 7 or 6.
Give it a 7.
Between 6.5 and 7. It is a little bit better than A House on a Thousand Corpses. I kind of think that his script writing on this one stepped up, and I think he learned from experience and from his mistakes from his last film, because his last film was just complete chaos.
And like 0.5, so we can meet in the middle about 7. Now this movie's amazing. It is probably my favorite out of the 3. However, next week, even though I say that, next week we are going to be watching and reviewing 3 from Hell. We are going to be doing a Pink Sock Reacts for 3 from Hell. Fantastic fucking
That's
movie.
also a good movie too. A lot of people shit on it, but I thought it was like one of his best movies since Halloween.
It was great the way they did it. The thing that upsets me, and I know it's nobody's fault because he didn't know he was going to get sick like that, but the fact Sid Haig is on the main poster when he's not even a main character.
Yeah.
Captain Spaulding, though, is the face of this franchise, even though he's never really been the main character per se.
And he was like the leader, like the gang.
Yeah.
Of this, you know. But
like he was.
Could you see another sequel to to Free from Hell? You reckon? If they did, like, what would it called? What would it be called though?
I don't know, because there's no Sid Haig. which he's
Yeah.
part of the three from hell. There's Otis and Baby, presumably, and we're not going to get into that right now, but like they're presumably dead.
You reckon?
Now I'll have to rewatch the movie because I thought they died, but I could be mistaken.
No,
I remember
actually,
they didn't.
no, because I don't want to give too much away. Like Rob Zombie always says, man. Like Rob Zombie said, like he'd always let the bad guy at the end win.
Okay, then
Like,
I
all
will.
of his movies are like that. Have you noticed that?
I'll have to watch it again because it's been a while. I saw it in theaters, and that's the last time I saw it.
Okay. I watched it last week.
But that was Three from Hell, guys. Go ahead and follow us on all social media.
You mean that was Devil's Rejects?
You can find us at allmylinks.com/pinksock podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Go check out Devil's Rejects if you haven't already. This whole episode, spoilers. We always do spoilers, but you can still enjoy the movie if you haven't seen it already. And as always, guys,
I reckon. Sorry, dude, but I reckon because since his movie titles are based from his song titles.
Yep.
His next movie should be everybody's fucking UFO.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see him do werewolf women at the SS because that was kind of happening, but it didn't happen. So it was just like a mini like commercial spot clip. But it would have been cool. I would have loved to see that. Him and Quentin Tarantino team up. That'd be cool.
That would be very cool.
And like maybe reboot Kill Bill and have Sherry Moon Zombie as Kill Bill.
That's fucking awesome. I would love to see that.
Nah, I need to stop shitting on her. She's a good actress, and I don't really give a shit what anyone says, to be honest.
Sherry Moon is awesome. I don't care what people think. But guys, that was Devil's Rejects. Next week is Three from Hell. However, Monday, Greg, I don't know if I'm going to be ready for Monday. I think we might have to wait until the week after next.
What's that?
For Black Sabbath.
Yeah. I'm not going to listen to it all. I'm just going to write my rankings down.
Okay, we are changing it, though, if that's all right with you, Gorak.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
I was going to change it.
Can we just Scream 6 after Free From Hell since we both watched it?
Yes, we can.
Because it clearly, apparently Scream 7 is going to be in production in October this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because you know how Scream 5 was released last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Scream 6 this year. I reckon Scream 7 will be out early. I reckon it'll be out early next year. My prediction is it will be. If it's getting filmed in October, and how many days it would have to film? Like a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months.
Movies typically take a while, I would assume.
Depending on the writing process too, I guess.
The movie Three from Hell was not Three from Hell, but Devil's Rejects was filmed. Start film. It started filming. I don't think they even say that.
No.
It doesn't. Does not say when it was filmed.
Okay. Well, my prediction that Scream 7 will be out like early next year. I think.
It claims that it was filmed in 2005, but I don't think that's true. All right. Anyway, that was Devil's Rejects, guys. Go hit the subscribe button. Go hit the like button. Go hit the share button. There's going to be a Scream 7 coming, which is exciting. I love you all. And as always, live long, rock hard, and go follow Gorak on all of his social media. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.